player tip of the podcast is...
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by doing your martial training. Today we have the martial training Vengeful Defender. The sword and board fighter is a powerful ally, right? Often focusing on protecting allies with her sword and shield, but because of this, her damage often lags behind her dual-wielding and great weapon counterparts, right?
Yeah, generally, right?
Yeah. Or does she? With a simple multi-class into rogue and picking up the riposte maneuver as a battle master fighter, you become a vengeful defender. Enemies who attack and miss you will pay dearly for that mistake. Because now with this dex build fighter, when somebody misses you, you can riposte and get your sneak attack bonus. In fact, I would recommend 3 levels into fighter and the rest into rogue. Because once you get that riposte, the higher that sneak attack, you specifically are setting up a chain combination to trigger your sneak attack multiple times in a round. Because traditionally you can only do it with op attacks, right?
Right.
Right.
I think so, yeah.
That's the only time you're ever going to get your sneak attack as a rogue, or generally on another person's turn. But by multi-classing into fighter and picking up the riposte, you can now potentially trigger it on other people's turns when they attack you.
And I'm guessing you're also choosing the protection fighting style.
You could, yes. Yeah. But you can't do both, right?
Well, yeah, you can.
Takes a reaction.
Oh, that's what you mean.
So you'd have to pick or choose. But you take the protection to protect other people.
Right.
You take the riposte to protect yourself.
I was going by the first line of text you're going with, so.
Right.
Which one?
The whole...
Well, yeah, so I changed it. So the idea is you would pick up the protection in order to help your allies.
Okay.
Right? That's the goal. But you don't have to do that. Just being near them is good enough generally. But by picking up protection, you can defend if they're weak. But if they're doing okay and somebody attacks you, you can choose to stab them and get that multi-attack off. But not multi-attack, that sneak attack. Which is going to eat up your multi-attack because you won't get that anymore. But the goal is to take the 2 attacks you have and trigger them as often as possible.
Right.
Specifically the sneak attack. So
yeah, now, just get some raw damage out there.
Once again, sneak attack can trigger on once per turn, not once per round. So finding as many ways as you can to trigger that will make your riposte deadly as hell.
Yes.
I mean, to give an idea, I put some numbers in here. So let's assume you got a +3 mod. You get a 1d8 +3 for using your rapier, right? Because you're going to use a rapier. You want to use a finesse, I guess you can use a short sword if you want. You get 1d6, which is 1 level into rogue. So now you're already doing 1d8 +3 plus 1d6. So even if you don't put any more points into rogue, you now are significantly increasing your damage output as a fighter. Because that can also trigger, if you do go farther into fighter with multi-attack, right? It gives you more opportunities to trigger it in the single turn. So, now, it isn't it's not the perfect balance, but if you're going for a defensive style, this is really a good thing to do. A good balance between those, I think.
Right.
Basically, regardless of each of the pros and cons, if you go with the riposte, your foe will regret attacking you.
Right.
So
it's a very it's a build where you're still good on your turn because obviously you still get the sneak attack.
Yep.
And I mean you're getting so many levels in rogue anyway, so you're still getting like evasion. You're still getting all these other really dumb abilities
cunning action.
And
cunning action
or reliable talent. In case
you get all that. That's why I think that going 3 levels into fighter, maybe 5 into fighter, then the rest if you're going to go higher level into rogue. But I think 3 would be plenty, and then put the rest into rogue to get those high sneak attack die. That you can go on both turns. So it makes for an interesting defensive sword and board build.
Yes,
and that's okay.
Yeah.
So. You can also alternatively not take protection, just keep the shield and pick up the dueling fighting style. To increase your damage as well. So,
and it gives you guys crit fishing.
Crit fishing, yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else on that?
Nope.
All right, that'll do it for our player tip.
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by studying that martial training. Become a vengeful defender. Hey, thank you so much for all your support and watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it. We are the hosts of the Crit Academy, a Dungeons & Dragons discussion podcast.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button.
And be sure to ring that bell. Get our latest content as we toss it out there, and it's good stuff.
Everyone loves fat loots and great D&D inspiration. Keep your blade sharp and spells prepared, heroes.